All right, so it seems like the longer LeBron stays in the league, the more disrespect he gains. He's getting disrespect from players, panelists,
Mm-hmm.
the refs. Dillon Brooks held him to 18 points last night, locked him up, like he said. Uh, if he's still playing at a high level, why is the disrespect only growing from fans?
So,
I think.
all right, so let's talk about the refs thing for a moment. This is not even a controversial opinion. This is backed up by the data. I forget which site it was, but actually just compiled in the last 8 years. The NBA does those last 2-minute reports. What player has been disadvantaged? What player has had more calls be wrong calls by the NBA's own reports? No player has had more calls go against them than LeBron James at the end of these games. And even when you do, well, how many did he have go for him? He is more in the negative than any player in the league. I think Embiid's the opposite. Embiid's had more things go his way that the refs then say, hey, he got the wrong whistle in his favor. There is a level of, and last year the data backed this up as well, of if you take all the play, and people are like, well, it's because LeBron's shooting so many more threes. If you take all the players, the league leaders, in either points at the rim, points in the paint, or shots in the paint, LeBron last year and the year before, and this year it's very early, was the lowest in free throw rate. So you're talking about attacking guys going to the basket. He just hasn't been getting calls. And there is an element of that he has lost, I think, some of the luster of this is the hands down best player in the game. He needs a beneficial whistle. Like every best player, Jordan got it, Kobe got it. Yeah, anyone in the discussion for all-time legend at their apex, Giannis can get it to a degree. He doesn't get that anymore because he's older, but he's still so physically imposing that guys slap him on the arm when he's going up for a layup, and it doesn't seem like it affects him the way it would affect other guys. So that is frustrating, and I think it's incredibly frustrating for LeBron, and the Lakers are right that it's not just like Laker fans being like, oh, the refs are against us. By the data, he has had a very tough whistle for his entire Lakers tenure. That's the first thing. As far as players going at him, it's the only player that's really gone at him this year is Dillon Brooks, and guy's a clown. This is a clown. Dillon Brooks has lost the right to be taken seriously. He lost it in the series against what? What are you wincing about? Tell me why I'm wrong.
Dillon Brooks isn't having a bad year? I feel like he's having a decent year.
No. He's actually having an excellent year. But when you, Dillon Brooks, when you say the things he said in the playoff series against the Lakers and then run from the media and then cry saying, I don't know why everyone is calling me a villain, the media's done this, and then introduce yourself repeatedly as Dillon the villain, and the last time you played LeBron, you got kicked out of the game for punching him in the balls, and then this time you're like, I'm going to lock him up. You're a clown. You're a clown and you don't deserve to be discussed. Like, the only reason we talk about Dillon Brooks more than 150 other guys in the league is because he just talks like he's a star. He's just the obvious manifestation of the evolution, or I should say evolution, of Patrick Beverley. Exactly right. He's a clown. Now, the media stuff, I don't know. Like, everyone was, it seemed like on a lot of shows, would LeBron have been the same guy with or without Miami? Did he need Miami? Everyone was a lot more interested in that discussion than I was. Like, what I do think is it is possible that without Miami, LeBron's career would not have gone this long. I think that if those 4 years in the apex prime of his career, he didn't go to Miami, learn what he learned from that organization, be around Spoelstra, and maybe most importantly, for the only 4-year stretch of his entire career, was he on a team that if he went to the bench, they could survive, and he didn't have to play these crazy minutes, things like that, I don't know if he'd still be at this level in year 21. He was already one of the greatest players ever before he went to Miami. Before he went to Miami, he was a 2-time league MVP, 4-time All-NBA first team, 2-time second team, and had taken a team to the finals at age 22, and had a playoff run where he averaged 35 points a game. Now, he wasn't a champion yet, and if people believe, well, he wouldn't have won any championships if he hadn't gone to Miami, I think that's crazy. Would he have had the same number? I don't know. He won 2 in those 4 years, but everything about his career changes after that. Does he go somewhere else? Does he stay in Cleveland? If he stays in Cleveland, they never get Kyrie Irving. They don't get, Kevin Love. It's the whole thing's different. So I don't know. What I do know is there are certain guys across sports history, particularly in the NBA, that were going to be all-time great legends no matter what. LeBron obviously is on that shortest of short lists. Now, people could say, what would Kareem's career have been if he didn't go to the Lakers? Well, it's an interesting question because Kareem had already won one championship and won one Finals MVP and won multiple MVPs with the Bucks. But he then won, 4 more MVPs, 5 more championships, and went to 9 more finals with the Lakers. So I don't know what the career would have been. I do know that LeBron's career could not have possibly worked out better. In my opinion, I think he's the greatest athlete ever. And so every decision along the way, I don't think you could have been like, this decision, it would have worked out better for him. I don't think there could be a better outcome than the story of you get drafted to your hometown team, you're within a year in the discussion for the best player in the league, take them to the finals, lose to a legend in Tim Duncan. The Boston Celtics, a legendary organization, creates the first modern super team because of you, because you're there and they need to get past you. You then can't get past that super team that was created to defeat you. You go to Miami, a team that has a friend of yours in your draft class, who had already teamed up with a legend in Shaquille O'Neal to win a championship. You guys immediately make the finals, and you have the one and only true failure of your career. It humbles you to a degree. It makes you a better basketball player. And then from that moment on, you reel off the greatest decade of basketball anyone's ever played. In the next 10 years, you can squint, you can argue, but in the next 9 years, I should say, you make the NBA Finals 8 times. You have the longest winning streak in the history of the league. Or in the second longest winning streak, in the history of the league. You are involved in one of the greatest Game 6s and Game 7s of a finals ever. You then go back home. You have the greatest comeback in finals history. Sandwiched around the greatest comeback in finals history, you have the greatest series in a losing effort in finals history, the 36-13-9 with your teammates injured. And then on the back end of it, the single greatest game in finals history, the 51-8-8 in Game 1 against Durant and those guys. The greatest individual playoff run in NBA history, the 2018 playoffs where he had 8 40-point games. You then go to the greatest organization in the history of the league that for the first time in its 70-year career or 70-year existence is in a downswing, hasn't made the playoffs in 6 years, and within a year you win a title for him. And then in that uniform, you become the NBA's all-time leading scorer, breaking the record of a legend from that organization, and now in year 21, you're still the best player on your team and one of the best players in the league. It's not like, well, but if he'd have gone to Chicago, what he would have, not that. And so, I think it worked out pretty well. All right, next.
No,
I guess I
Brian,
was kind of interested
over
in that
here.
Well, it's just an accurate telling of this tale. It's just, I am, if nothing else, I am, an arbiter of truth and fairness, and it's important to be, have somebody out there that is going to tell the true story. And what's a better story than a guy being immediately great, can't get over the hump, tasting real failure, reaching the absolute pinnacle, going back home, overcoming what was considered an insurmountable deficit, and then saying, new challenge, going to the greatest organization ever that was in total shambles and instantly delivering them a championship, and now being literally the oldest player in the league and still one of the best players in the league. Never seen anything like it.
Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.